everyone. So let's get started with today's topic, that is Council of Ministers. So the question is, consider the following statements. The Council of Ministers in the center shall be collectively responsible to the Parliament. That is, they should be collectively responsible to the Parliament. Second statement, the Union Ministers shall hold the office during the pleasure of President of India. So that is, the Union Ministers will be holding their office during pleasure of President. Third statement, the Prime Minister shall communicate to the President about the proposals for the legislature, for legislations in fact. So that is the third statement. So it is asked for the correct statement. Now we will have a quick revision about collective responsibility as well as individual responsibility of Council of Ministers. So Article 75 Clause 3 states that the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of the People, that is to the Lok Sabha. So it has been specified explicitly in the Constitution, that is, they are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. So it is not to the Parliament, in fact it is more, to be more specific, it is actually to the Lok Sabha. And in fact all the members of the government, that is all the Council of Ministers, should actually unanimously support the policies of the government and defend them in the floor, that is at the Lok Sabha as well in the Parliament in fact. And if a decision that has, if a collective decision that has been taken by the Council of Ministers collectively in fact has been defeated in the Lok Sabha, then the entire Council of Ministers need to resign. So that is what you mean by collective responsibility. In fact, Article 75 Clause 3 speaks about this collective responsibility of Council of Ministers. Now Article 75 Clause 2 in fact speaks about individual responsibility of the minister. In fact, it says that the minister will be holding the office during the pleasure of the President. So the ministers themselves should be responsible, individually responsible to the executive head of the state, in fact to the President. But here understand that it is not the President who will be taking, or he will not be having that particular decision or that particular power to remove unanimously in fact. So he can use this particular power only on the aid and advice of the Prime Minister. In fact, he can appoint a minister as well as remove a minister only when he receives an advice from the Prime Minister asking him to do so. So that is it. So the President cannot remove the minister without the advice of Prime Minister. In fact, he can remove, once he gets the advice from the Prime Minister asking him to remove a minister, in such a case he can remove the minister even without specifying the reason why he is removing, and also even when that particular minister is enjoying the support of the legislature. So that is actually the power of President, that is Article 75 Clause 2 enforces in fact this particular individual responsibility, that is individually responsible to the head of the state, that is to the President of India. Now this collective responsibility, individual responsibility in fact is very much important so as to enforce this particular collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers. Now let's come back to the question, that is, consider the following statements. The Council of Ministers in India shall be collectively responsible to the people, to the Parliament. In fact, first statement is wrong. We can say that first statement is wrong. That is, they are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha according to Article 75 Clause 3. So which means that then and there itself we can eliminate option, that is option 1, that is statement 1 can be eliminated, whereby we can say option A as well as option C as well as option D, Delhi, can be eliminated. So then and there itself we will be getting the answer, that is Bombay 2 and 3, but we will be examining it once again. The Union Ministers shall hold the office during the pleasure of President. In fact, that is correct. That is, they will be holding the office during pleasure of President. So second statement is correct. Now the third statement, the Prime Minister shall communicate to the President about the proposals for legislation. This is also correct. That is, he acts as a link between the President and the Council of Ministers, and all communication to the Council of Ministers by the President would be by the President, and also from the Council of Ministers also, it would be flowing through this particular link, that is through the Prime Minister. And in fact, he has to furnish all such data that would be called for by the President, and also would be giving periodic informations about would be communicating to the President. In fact, the Prime Minister would be communicating to the President periodically about the proposals for legislations that has to be kept before the Parliament. So this is actually an important function that the President has. It is actually an important relation that Prime Minister has with respect to President as well as Council of Ministers. So the third statement is correct, so which means that the option should be Bombay 2 and 3 only. So that's it. Thank you.